Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EV Nickel's channel on the forefront of a commodities renaissance. Joining us today is the Chief Executive Officer, Sean Samson. Welcome, sir.
Hi there. Nice to be on.
And always a pleasure to have you. We got lots that we're going to be diving down into. We're going to be breaking down EV Nickel, the properties, the finances, but today we're going to roll it back a little bit because I want to get to know a little bit more about yourself, the team that's sitting there at EV Nickel. So do you mind just kind of briefing us on your history leading up to EV Nickel, what kind of experience you have, and what kind of drove you into the commodities market?
Sure. So my background is I started out my career working in New York in finance. So I was initially a trader. And then I went overseas and did that in Eastern Europe. And so financial markets was my thing until I went to business school in the UK. And then I came back to Canada. I'm from near Hamilton and got involved in consulting, primarily private equity in Toronto. And then after doing that for about 5 years at Bain & Company, I left and began working in resources. And initially I was working at Direct Energy, helping run the strategy group and acquisitions, and then moved over into a large gold miner, Kinross Gold, which I helped run for a few years. And that's when I began my career as a miner. My focus has really been on the commercial side. After 5 years at Kinross, I came out into the juniors and helped run a nickel junior, and then moved into my own company called Rogue Resources, which I took over. And that brings me to today, where I'm focused in on EV Nickel. EV Nickel, we took a non-core asset of Rogue's, so I'm running both companies still. Rogue has moved into a nice little cash flowing operation with basic stone quarries. And EV Nickel is a very neat play wherein we're helping the EV companies get their nickel for the decarbonization. So that's really the focus with EV Nickel. That's how I got here. I find it's a culmination of much of what I've done over my career. I'm used to building things and running teams, and that's exactly where we're focused now. Plus, I've got the financing in place. So EV is a culmination as we're really trying to pull together an investment opportunity, which is at a fantastic opportunity in time, where this is with the EV forecasts and the shortfall of nickel to go into the electric vehicles. There's a real opportunity to come on stream with new nickel supply, and not just typical nickel supply where miners are around chasing grade and trying to move businesses along, but it's also a low carbon nickel production, which we're going to be putting together in Northern Ontario. And it's a really neat opportunity. And again, it's a culmination of sort of much of my career and many of the skills that I come with.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what the next few years bring for the battery production side of things as well. You also mentioned your team, and I wouldn't mind if you could just give us a little bit more insight into some of the guys backing you as well. I mean, you got CFO Travis. You got some of the VP Paul there. Mike Silver is one of the directors. Do you mind just offering some insight into the experience they're offering?
Yeah, more broadly across the team, I've got Travis as my CFO. Travis is an experienced mining guy, was part of the core team at Integra Gold before they were taken over. So Travis is my CFO, but the real star of the team and the real strength of what we have is our technical team. And that's my colleague, Paul Davis, who spent over 20 years of his career up in Timmins doing exploration across the Komatiates, which is the geology we're in with the Shaw Dome south of Timmins. And Paul is very seasoned in this. He did his master's thesis on this exact rock, comparing it to the Kambalda, which is a very successful area of Western Australia with similar geology. And then under Paul, we have our geo team up in Timmins, which includes very seasoned guys who have experience out exploring in similar deposits like this, chasing these types of flows and finding more and more nickel. And then rounding out the team, we have Mike, who's a seasoned investment banker, very well known in Toronto, and helps me a lot on the corporate development type stuff. So we're a tight team to begin with. Our real focus, though, is up trying to drill and find more nickel up at Langmuir. We have an excellent team for that with lots of experience in what we call the Komatiates up in the Shaw Dome.
That's incredible. On that note, Sean, what I think we're going to do is we're going to come back. We're going to talk about nickel as the commodity. We're going to break down your property types and just learn more exactly about how you guys are kind of hitting this new market. I'm really intrigued, but I appreciate your time today.
Okay, thank you.
And on that note, folks, if you ever have any questions, let us know what you think in that comment section below, and perhaps down the road, we'll do an investor Q&A in this fascinating commodities market. But stay cool, stay awesome, and I look forward to catching you in the next one.